Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. It's time to talk about some interesting topics. Now that we've had the announcement of the F5, the F5E FCU, which is a Thai vehicle coming to the Japanese tree, of course that has set the rumor mill going nuts. Every time we have a vehicle which is added to a different tech tree, everybody just goes crazy, starts coming up with rumors, ideas, thoughts, because that is now all that's going on. That is basically what War Thunder is. It is, instead of enjoying what is in front of our eyes, it is waiting for the next big thing. So with that said, on the Chinese side of the forums, of course there is a interesting side of things. Same with pretty much every other side. There is a hint of nationalism and a hint of pride and a hint of everything that creeps into it because of War Thunder being a game based around nations, and of course people having perceived notions of other nations. It means that you have this wonderful melting pot. I would class it more as a boiling kettle going on all of the time between specific community members. And of course, with the F5 being announced, this means that this leads people to extend their thought towards other vehicles, and the idea of Thailand becoming a subtree for Japan, which I think overall would actually be a very good idea. Overall, Thailand actually has a ton of different vehicles. They have naval, they have helicopters, they have ground, they have air, they have a very interesting set of not just vehicles, but a general armed forces setup too. There's a ton of really cool videos on YouTube actually showing some of their training regiments and also some of their hardcore troops that they have around the place and what they have to go to become that level. And overall, it's just fantastic to look at and watch, and I'd highly recommend it. But with the announcement of the F5 and with the idea of it coming to Japan, there is other vehicles that Thailand do operate that are from very specific nations. The VT4, which we already have in the game in the Chinese tech tree, a variant is actually there for Thailand and exported to Thailand. And somebody asked a question, VT4, will it come to the Japanese tech tree? And Maple Leaves, who is an administrator for what seems to be the Chinese side of War Thunder, says, we have no plans or ideas to add Chinese vehicles to the Japanese tech tree. Now, number one, a thing which is very important when looking at these sets of things. What administrators say, especially when it comes to what is coming to the game, is completely worthless. The reason for this is because they are not in a position to make decisions on what comes into the game or doesn't come into the game. They are a mouthpiece for the company and a barrier which is created to keep people away from people like developers and from people doing the actual work on the game, and it's a very positive barrier to have. So always take whatever they say with a grain of salt. There has been many times over in War Thunder's history where something has been said by either a community manager or an administrator or even just a technical moderator, which is taken as gospel by many people, that has just turned out to be not true or has been proven in time to be completely wrong. And this is something which happens quite a lot, whether it's the idea of we're not going to add, stuff like supersonic jets in the game, not going to have air-to-air missiles, things like this. You're not going to go to modern-day equipment. All of these things were said to never happen in the past, but as we know, plans change, things change. So taking ideas from this and seeing them as gospel about the idea that this will not happen is completely worthless in general. But of course, this has started the rumor mill. There's a bunch of people talking about, now we have to get into the politics of Japan and China, the wonderful politics of Japan and China. What if they decide to add this vehicle to the Japanese tech tree? What will happen? Will people be annoyed? Will they go crazy? Will there be issues on the streets? Will there be riots at the Gaijin HQ? No, of course not. Like, at the end of the day, people get annoyed about it for about 1 or 2 days, and then they'll completely forget it exists. Just like everything else in War Thunder, over and over and over again. But also at the same time, there are plenty of other vehicles that can be added to the Japanese tech tree that aren't the VT4. So it probably isn't in the plans right now, even though the people commenting on it have no idea whether it is there or not. But what can happen in the future is it may get added, or it may turn up, because guess what? Plans change. Is that a bad thing? No, because what matters the most when it comes to War Thunder is people having positive experiences in the tech trees themselves. There was even talk about the idea that all different nations in Asia are going to get funneled into good old Japan, which already makes absolutely no sense since we have some vehicles from Asia in other tech trees already. But c'est la vie. This is what happens when rumor mills go on and new precedents are supposedly set. Even though there is no precedents that have been changed with the addition of the F5, they have done exactly the same that they've done in the past over and over and over again. What they have decided to do is the simple thing. They have gone, this vehicle is going to come to the game in the Japanese tech tree because it makes the most sense to add it to the tech tree. Because of the fact that Japan needs a squadron vehicle, and also this helps out. You know what's really funny also on the Chinese version of this article? They've actually added an extra part of the developer's comment as well, which I'm going to read to you, which is hilarious to me because of probably backlash. We plan to add the Thai F5E FCU to the Japanese technology tree in the form of a squadron vehicle. This decision is mainly taken into account that Japan currently lacks self-produced jet fighter options suitable for inclusion in the game, and the addition of the F5E, it will be able to bring a relatively new and interesting experience to the Japanese technology tree. In addition to air combat, its rich ground attack mounts can also enrich the combat effectiveness of land combat sorties. In view of the high popularity of the F5 series in the game, and also the close geographical location between Thailand and Japan, the development team decided to use this form to enrich the lineup of the Japanese technology tree, which is all what was said before, right? And now there is an asterisk on the Chinese version of this devlog, so not on the English one, but on the Chinese one. The F5E added to the Japanese technology tree in this blog does not represent the development direction of the game. At the same time, we will continue to pay attention to player feedback about this vehicle and avoid any future decisions we make that may cause controversy. The fact that we are in a video game and people get annoyed about political lines and political setups in the present day world annoys the hell out of me. We should be here having fun. We should not be using politics or political decisions in real life and attribute it to a video game. This has been a problem with War Thunder from the beginning. Nutcases who are part of this community who take way too much pride in things that should not be involved in a video game. And if they do take a lot of pride in them, they should focus on those in real life and not on a screen. It is nuts. It has been like this from the beginning. And if I'm honest with you, I'm sick of it. It only ends in negative things happening where people cannot work together, people end up in negative places, and everything just becomes combative instead of constructive. As always, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. I'd like to thank Schnitzel Stroker, Brendan Quinn, Vilneus, Character Fuel, Carrion Crow, Nicholas Richardson, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Wartinder, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, B. Young, Opium Prime, Masonocrat, Lafouche, Alan Hacker, Sem Arslan, Uncle Bean, and Derek R. for supporting the channel.